If you know me, or you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know that I am a pretty big fan of constraints, or more accurately, what comes out of them. I've never really put that into words, I don't think, but this is a great way for me to do it, because I've played a lot of Elden Ring, and I don't use summons, and I play MCC for charity without dying once as my attempt. I'm trying to give myself the constraint to not die once throughout the entirety of playing Halo 1 and all the Halo games eventually. They're constraints that I sometimes don't even think about, that I put myself through all the time. Because I enjoy what comes out of that. I enjoy the satisfaction of doing something or creating something out of a constraint. And one of the most common constraints that I end up putting myself in, which can probably be the more frustrating one of all, is time. Time constraints are a bit different than talking about the constraints I mentioned earlier. But the whole point of me saying all that is that I like that kind of stuff. And I really like what comes out of constraints. And I am not a writer. I would like to say that I want to be, but I don't practice it enough to even attempt to be one. I could, but I don't. But I do appreciate writing, and I do appreciate language, and very good writing, and I appreciate constrained writing. I find it very interesting whenever you have a creative project of any kind, not just writing, that comes out of constraint. The constraint of making a video every single day for a year and deleting it all at the end and still making it mean something. That's a pretty hefty goal, but Mark and Ethan did it with Unus Annus. Now, I know that that's a lofty comparison to what I said before, but I'm just putting it in perspective, the fact that I really do enjoy constraints. And that's why I like this book a lot. Let me make sure you can see this. The book Not Awake. It's a very fascinating book, and I am also a mathematic person myself, so it strikes another chord with me. Not Awake is a book, a dream sequence book, built under a particular writing constraint. And that writing constraint is that each word in the book, a series of chapters, segments, and or poems, there's so many different writing styles in this one book. And it's because the constraint is that every single, well, you can see it on the front, a dream embodying pi's digits fully for 1,000, or sorry, not 1,000, for 10,000 decimals. There's 10,000 words, and each word is one of pi's digits in order. And here you can see that in each section of the book, or each chapter of the book, Michael Keith, the author here, he lays out what numbers are being used for the section. And if I turn here to, I'm not going to show you all the words on the page or anything like that, because it's definitely worth buying if you like this kind of stuff. If you move on to the next section where he has like little individual like short story type things going on, you can see that he has the chapter mark with 2 pi symbols, and he has the next digits that he used in the next section. It's a very fascinating book. It's very fascinating. I have not read all of it. I've begun reading the first chapter, and I wanted to make this video because this book is awesome. And if you're interested in any type of constrained writing or creativity projects, and you're a math nerd, you don't even need to be a math nerd to enjoy this book, because the book doesn't have any math in it. It's just the constraint that the writer chose. But if you are a math nerd, it can kind of strike an extra chord with you. The kind of coolness of seeing the digits of pi arranged into meaningful words. That it's very interesting to see how he tries to push meaning, extreme, like deep meaning, into such an extreme constraint. I mean, especially when you talk about larger words. From my ignorant perspective, I think that 6 and up, from that point forward, you start to get to maybe even lower than that, words that are 6 letters and up, and you get to having to use those pretty consistently, because a lot of the English language is through very short words that can be fillers, like the of and is are like some of the most used words in the English language. In fact, I'll put on screen here an image of the most used words, and you'll notice that most of them are like 4 or under.
The top 20 most common English words in order are the of and to, a in is I, that it for you was with on, as have, but be they.
So really, when you get into being forced to use long words after one another, that's like an extreme writing constraint, and you have to try. You don't have to, but obviously he wanted to do this. It seems like from my perspective, from reading it at least, that he wanted to put meaning into what he was writing. I mean, it's a dream sequence, so it's all over the place, of course, and that makes complete sense. And I think it encapsulates that very well from what I have read so far. But on top of that, there's meaning in a lot of the sentences and a lot of the phrases that he uses. There's actually meaning behind them, and they're thought provoking, and I find that fascinating because he clearly went the extra mile and didn't just want to write something that grammatically made sense with the digits of pi, or with words that follow the digits of pi in length, but he made something that is art at the same time. I mean, I might even consider that art in itself, just doing with the constraint, but he went beyond that and tried to make it something that was thought-provoking even if you didn't know that it was a writing constraint. But of course the book makes it very obvious that it's a writing constraint because it's a really cool writing constraint. So the whole point of this video is, I like constraints, and I thought that this vlog would be a great way for me to talk about that and show that, because it really helped me put that into words, as many things with language can do, many language art pieces can do, help you put things into words that you previously couldn't. That's something that this has helped me do, and I also just think that this is really cool, and if you're interested in any part of this, it's only 10,000 words. When you're talking about books that long story books that you read, this really isn't a long read. It's just very thought-provoking, it's very interesting, and it's so cool to see this. So, not sponsored or anything, as if anyone would sponsor me. I mean, I'm literally, at the time of making this, I still have less than 50 subscribers. So, I'm just making that clear. I've never met this person, I've never talked to him. I simply figured out about this book through a Vsauce video, immediately bought it because I was fascinated by it, and I started reading it today. And to be honest, today has been a weird day, so I'm kind of out of it, so I kind of didn't read as much as I wanted to, but I did begin reading it today, and it is fascinating, and I'm loving it already. I know that I'm going to probably have to read it in small bites, which I'm fine with. I probably prefer that, because I'm really bad at actually just sitting down and reading for like a few hours, because it's just so packed full of really strange dream sequences that I feel like if I want to try and understand the meaning that he put into them, or at least a meaning that I can take out of it, even if it's not the same thing, he being Michael Keith, just to reiterate his name, I have to take time with each passage and with each chapter to actually soak in what the hell is going on, because it's a very interesting writing constraint, and I think it's, again, I think it's very fascinating. I think you should check it out if you're interested. I think it's like $15 to $20. I don't remember exactly. I got it on Amazon for $15 to $20. It's really not that expensive for what it is. I mean, this had to have been so hard to make. It really did. So yeah, check it out. And thank you for watching. Okay, so I have a random challenge idea for you that I just thought of. Within reason, I reserve the right to veto something that's not, but within reason, I will make any piece of content that you want me to on this channel in the near future if you can describe what you want me to make down in the comments by abiding by the digits of pi, in the same way that the book Not Awake does. The first word has to be three letters long, then 1, then 4, and so on. You can look up the digits of pi online, or you can buy the book. He has them listed out very well for you. And if you can describe the content that you want me to create, and I can verify that the comment is completely written in the pi format, then I will make that thing for you, whatever it may be. Again, within reason. So if you're interested in that, then give it a shot down in the comments. Just something I thought about out of nowhere. And again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.